both parties. So that's, the dinner's usually a big fundraiser goal for us. But then it's just, I was telling you earlier, we've had just random companies find us online and just reach out and they're like, hey, we want to, donate something or sponsor
we
something.
Need a tax write-off.
Basically.
Which is not a bad thing.
No, I'm all for it.
I don't know why a lot of people get all upset when a huge company donates a bunch of money and they're like, it's just a tax write-off. It's like, hey,
great.
So what?
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
That's
sure.
No, it's fantastic. We've had one of those actually at the end of 2018. We got an email from this lady we never met or anything, and it's funny because Jamie thought it was spam and threw it away.
It was an African prince who needed $35,000 and he was going to give you $100.
Right. So I just read the email, and she even, and it was one of those like, hey, can you give me a phone call? I want to talk to you about a donation. It was middle of December, so I was like, all right, I'll humor it, and gave her a phone call and got her voicemail, left her a message. She called back in like 5 minutes, and we ended up having like a 30-minute phone call because they were looking for other organizations to give to for the end of the year, and they already had a bunch that they gave to, and so they ended up just after our phone call and explaining in more detail what we do, she was like, that's an easy sold right there. And so but they've been given every year since, so something like that. I mean, it's been a huge, especially last year. Not being able to have the dinner last year was a big for us, big hit financially, but we were still able to raise quite a bit just from random companies that just find us online. And so we're always open.
So speaking of cancellations and like things have to get postponed and certain events not being able to happen, how's COVID affected, obviously, besides canceling, fundraising, and just what are some of the hurdles you guys are going through now? And is there any fear for the future?
So last year, the biggest issue for us was we couldn't do any of our events. We were lucky to have, our spring event was in February. It was the last day of February, and like 2 weeks before quarantine. So it was great to be at least get one in the year, and then we had to cancel our summer event, we had to cancel our dinner, we had to cancel our fall event. We ended up doing some like quarantine care packages for all our families and stuff. So I mean, it kept us busy. It gave us something to do and be able to still, let them know that we're thinking of them. And as far as like this year goes, it's uncertain. We're gonna try to just plan ahead, and again, it's just finding places that will host us. For fall last year, we were still able to. We had to cancel our Halloween event, but we ended up finding a location that was able to open their doors to us, and so we had our Thanksgiving event, which still had like 100 people.
It's got to be tough because of how many people too, huh?
It's hard, yeah. And locations need to be big, or have a lot of open space, and the more we grow, the harder it's going to be. But we've worked it out. Everything's always come together in the end, and but yeah, moving forward, like there's not a whole lot of fear for us. When we did the Thanksgiving adventure, the bigger fear was the families are like, they kept texting us like, "Are you canceling? Are you canceling?" They were just afraid that we would have to cancel because I think we were going into curfew. Like curfew happened that night, and then we went back to like purple exactly. And so they were more afraid that we weren't going to be doing it because people want to get back to normal. They want to have their relationships. They want to feel some type of normalcy. And so when they were there, it was just an amazing day because everyone was disconnected. One, because we were so far out of service. I don't think people even had service there, but everyone was just having real life conversations with one another. And the kids were off doing all their different games and stuff, having a good time with their mentors. And, all the women were just doing what they do. They were just sharing stories again and just being able to catch up with one another. So that was, it was really important for them. And so moving forward, we had a couple people that didn't want to come because of
understandable.
exactly,
Yeah.
and it's if they don't feel comfortable, they don't feel comfortable. They don't come.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
It's forcing you.
Yeah, exactly. So the people that want to be there, or at least feel up to being there, it's good on them. And we just want to make sure we have a place. We want to make sure that we're still able to put on these events for them, just so that they have a home and somewhere they can kind of retreat from the rest of the society. And so yeah, we're not really too worried about this year. Again, like I said, we're going to be doing some smaller activities, whether it's veterans only or even breaking the kids up and doing like teen only events.
Okay,
And
that's
then
cool.
so at least it'll
Gotta
make
adapt.
things smaller,
Yeah.
but it might make us more capable of still performing what we're supposed to.
Nice. You can tailor it to those
Yeah.
individuals. What's one thing that you wish you had known before you started?
Man, we didn't really anticipate how much work was going to go into creating these things.
Yeah.
And that's on us. That's just us,
yeah.
because we always want to make things more bigger and exciting. And to be completely honest, if we just showed up and had like a picnic with everybody, they'd be happy. Just
for
being
sure,
together.
sure.
So it's really on us. Making it how crazy they are. But yeah, I think just kind of knowing how much was going to go into it, and we'd probably be a little bit more mentally prepared. But since then, we've adapted, and now it's normal. You should
forced to grow.
you should see this house the month before an adventure. Like, you can't even walk anywhere because
it's crazy.
Floors
it's only
are
just
covered.
You and Jamie planning this stuff. That's big ups to both of y'all. Cause that is.
She's super creative, and really, it's like movies and books. We just pull and take ideas from stories we've heard or seen, and make it into our own. But they work, and we just want to be able to I guess keep everybody excited and just kind of guessing at what's going to be next. We never want to dull out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you want people to look forward to what's going to happen next.
But we've been good so far. But again, it's only two heads right now. Yeah. So again, like, we have our board, and we definitely bounce ideas off them now and kind of see like what they think would benefit the mission. And but either way, like I said, like, it really doesn't matter what we do, as long as we're able to bring everybody together. That's really the key part.
And we've talked about, obviously, the whole program is about mentors, mentorship, mentor-mentee relationships. You were in the service, which all we have is mentors at some point. Who or what specific mentor helped you kind of make all this possible? Or if there were multiple, like, did you have any mentors that really stuck out and was like, hey, this guy really got me to where I am?
Not within the military. Funny enough, my time in the military and all the jobs I had outside the military, what helped me the most was poor leadership.
Yeah.
I learned more about
what you don't want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I learned more from, and I think is just as important. I definitely feel like I gained more from bad leadership that I've experienced, whether in the military or jobs that I had on the outside. And yeah, it allows you to know things you don't want to do and how you can do things better. Because at that point, you're the consumer, and so you can kind of gauge on like what would make your performance better, what would make you happier in your workplace. And so, yeah, it was really kind of just that, and then relying on the support of our family and the people we had around us that believed in what we were looking to do. Because if we didn't have that, if we had only doubters in our lives, so it was really just looking towards our family. Jamie's family is all local, so they've played a big part. And there's at one point, her and I were living with her parents, and their house was trash because of all the stuff that we had to bring
Yeah,
in for
yeah,
all the
yeah.
adventures and stuff, and they're totally cool with it, and
Mm-hmm.
they knew the bigger picture behind it. So having people like that just allowed us to be creative and just supported what we were looking to do. That was probably the biggest help. And so, and looking towards our friends, and the first adventure we had, all the veterans that were there as mentors were, like guys that I was friends with. So,
Well, it takes a community.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's a like you said, family, but not just blood. It's just everybody willing to fight for a cause in a sense. What's you started this in 2017. You said.
Yeah. Well, 2000 March of 2017 is when we finally got our 501c3 status. Yeah.
And since then, you've gained a lot of traction. I mean, I've seen you on the news a couple times. Yeah. You've been highlighted through different multiple media platforms. Was there ever a point since starting where it was like an aha moment, like, wow, this is really big. Like, this is look at how far we've come.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Well, we the first aha moment was probably just after the first adventure, just seeing that it actually worked, and that our fears of how it was going to be with the kids and the vets, that was laid to rest. It was successful. It gave us momentum to push forward into the next year. I think the next one we had was the following February of 2018. So yeah, I think just over the years now, and we were, like you say, we've been featured in I think 3 different local news outlets. We had CNN reach out to us last year, and they wanted to share our story with their viewers, and so that was a really hard process, because they reached out to us before quarantine happened, and so then quarantine hit, and then now we can't bring camera crews out and all that, because it wasn't a news segment. They had a docu-series that they do, and so this set of episodes were just featuring more veteran owned organizations, and so we ended up having to do all the filming here. So we offered our equipment and services, and they wanted to highlight one of our Gold Star kids and their veteran, kind of showcase like their relationship, highlight her family a little bit, talk about her their loss and stuff like that. But it was difficult because we spent months and months going back and forth. Like, they would send us out equipment, and we had to set up here, like outside. We had to set up like multiple cameras. We had to live feed it through the computer so that they can do like basically a live interview with them. But it took months and months of filming. Yeah, them sending equipment, us having to send it back, sending out the hard drives, uploading the footage. Then we actually had to go out. We went out and down at Coronado to because the little girl always wanted to learn how to surf. Like, her dad was a big surfer.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah,
and
yeah.
So her mentor Andrew is a surfer, and so we took them out to Coronado, and it was her first time being able to experience learning how to surf, and so we had got some great footage of them out there just doing something that her dad would have been able to do with her. So it was a great story. They put it all together, and it was released October 28th, and it was a great story. It's on our homepage. I believe if you go on our website, it's right there on our homepage. But the only downside is it was right before the election, and so it just got washed out. Yeah, it got super washed out with the election stuff. So timing just wasn't on our side with that, but we're happy to have it because we can still share it. We put it on all our social media platforms, and
it's not like a story that'll expire.
Right? Exactly.
And I'm sure that got you a lot of followings and sponsors. Somewhat. More people.
Not too much. No? So their video, it's up on their YouTube channel, but it's unlisted. So unless you get the exact link, people can't just stumble across it. So that's just kind of a bummer. Yeah. The viewing's pretty decent. I think it's up to 140,000 views on it. But yeah, it just the timing was just bad. But in the long run, like we were definitely happy to do it because it's a great story, and we're still able to share it on our networks as well. So